Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastav. Today I am going to present the topic Integrated Pest Management. Before presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I am Vijay Kumar Srivastav. I have completed MSc Agriculture with a specialization in agronomy from GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar in 1996. So let's move to the presentation. What is Integrated Pest Management? According to the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, IPM means considering all available pest control techniques and other measures that discourage the development of pest populations while minimizing risks to human health and the environment. For farmers, integrated pest management is the best combination of mechanical, cultural, biological and chemical measures to manage diseases, insects, weeds and other pests. Integrated pest management allows farmers to manage diseases, insects, weeds, and other pests in a cost-effective and environmentally sound way. Integrated pest management is ultimately a site-specific strategy for managing pests in the most cost-effective way, environmentally sound way, and socially acceptable way. Implementation of IPM lies with farmers who adopt practices they view as practical and valuable to their activities. IPM is the ecosystem-based strategy that focuses on long-term prevention of pests or their damage through a combination of techniques such as biological control, habitat manipulation, and modification of cultural practices and usage of resistant varieties. Why integrated pest management is important? The demands of a growing world population for food and fiber is increasing, and it requires farmers' attention to produce more crops on existing farmland. To increase these yields require continuous improvement of agriculture technologies to minimize crop losses. The challenge is to do this while protecting the environment. In this case, integrated pest management is a big part of solution. Increasingly, it is being adopted in both developed and developing countries for long-term sustainable agriculture that achieves adequate, safe and quality food production and improves farmers' livelihood and conserves non-renewable resources. Increasing yields on the existing agricultural land base whilst protecting biodiversity and the environment has never been more important as the global population rises and demand for food and pressure on natural resources grows. Integrated pest management is a system of pest prevention, pest monitoring and intervention when necessary by utilizing a range of pest management tools to provide farmers a means to minimize crop losses to pests and diseases and sustainably maximize production. Integrated pest management IPM is a holistic approach to sustainable crop protection that focuses on managing insects, weeds, and diseases through a combination of mechanical or physical, cultural, biological, and chemical methods that are cost effective, environmentally sound, and socially acceptable. Compulsory in the European Union since 2014, IPM includes the responsible use of pesticides and plant biotech solutions. So, IPM is the need in future to maintain the environment and go for sustainable agriculture farming. IPM includes three principal approaches like direct action against pathogen, second genetic modification of the host, and third modification of environment to make it favorable for the host. So by these methods we can opt for integrated pest management. Now to study the steps in the implementation of integrated pest management. It includes like inspection of fields or inspection of the geography where we are going to implement the integrated pest management. After that, planning preventive strategies, identification of the problems which are prevailing in that geography. After that, analysis and treatment selection according to suitability and monitoring of the action plan and documentation. Now to study the benefits of integrated pest management. First one, integrated pest management has a role in improving crop profitability due to better pest control measures and appropriate use of crop protection products. And second, stable, reliable and quality crop yields. Third, it decreased severity of pest infestations. Fourth, IPM reduced potential for problems of pest resistance or resurgence. And fifth, IPM increased consumer confidence in the safety and quality of food and fiber products. Sixth, IPM program will enhance the long-term stability of the holdings over and above protection against pests. And seventh, it's provide long-term solution to pest problem. And eighth, IPM has decreased the use of chemical applications. Now to study why there is requirement of integrated pest management. There are various reasons about which we will study here. Like first one, chemical pesticides usage. Chemical pesticides can impact the human health and ecosystem. Everywhere in agriculture, there is large consumptions of agrochemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, etc., which are causing the big impact on human health and ecosystems. Like example, DDT is a pesticide which can accumulate in ecosystems and the fatty tissues of animals and affect birds' reproduction. So we have to minimize the chemical usage and search for alternate solutions. Second, insects can become resistant to chemical pesticides. There is huge consumption of plant protection chemicals like weedicides, herbicides, which are creating impact on human health as well as socially beneficial insects also and animals. Approximately 500 species of insects are resistant to one or more pesticides. If we are using the chemicals on a long run basis, slowly insects are developing the resistance and tolerance mechanism in itself. So we have to break down the resistant development and adopt the various other methods through integrated pest management to control. Third, due to exclusions, it leads to transmit a large number of plant diseases worldwide. Like example, leaf rust of coffee and late blight of potato has become very epidemic plant diseases. Impact of overuse of chemical pesticides is leading to endangered species of birds. So because of these factors, we have to think about integrated pest management approach. Here to study the components of integrated pest management. IPM requires competence in three areas like prevention, monitoring and intervention. To make the success of IPM, it should be implemented well in farmers' field, and farmers are the primary decision makers in implementing IPM strategy and to make it successful. As the components are concerned, the first one is prevention, to prevent the buildup of pests. So here we have to understand the conditions and select the varieties and methods and manage the crops. Second is monitoring, where we have to monitor the crops for both pest and natural control mechanisms and inspect the fields, identify the issues which are prevailing in that geography and determine the action plan. After that, intervention, to intervene when control methods are needed, and we have to choose the appropriate method and plan approach and intervene responsibly in advance to control the spread of the diseases and pests. And as the control methods are concerned, there are four methods which are used in integrated pest management like cultural, physical or mechanical and biological and chemical methods, about which we will study. Under prevention, many aspects of crop management are designed to prevent initial outbreaks of insects, diseases or weeds. Practical strategies can be combined and optimized for an integrated pest management program, and the goal is to prevent pest population from building up to economically damaging levels. Now second is monitoring. Under monitoring, there should be inspection of fields and observing crops determines if, when, and what actions should be taken to maximize crop production and quality. Decision making tools are ranging from pegboards to computers and trained local experts to remote sensing technologies. And here, farmer is the primary decision makers for implementing the IPM practices up to the best level. And here we have to get the real time information on what is happening in the field and what is ideal, and accordingly we have to take the decision for next process. Third component, interventions, where we have to follow the action plan for reducing economically damaging pests to acceptable levels, which may involve cultural, physical, biological and chemical control measures individually or in combination. Cost, benefits, timing, labor force and equipments, as well as economic, environmental and social impacts all have to be taken into consideration. Now here to study about IPM strategies and tools. Integrated pest management includes the development and usage of chemicals, natural, biological and biotic products for pest control. It may also involve computer aided sampling and decision making, as well as improved farm equipments. Farmers are the primary decision makers in IPM programs. Individually or collectively, they have to decide how to manage all pests that may damage crops. The role of the plant science industry is to provide access to a wide range of useful technologies, products, services, and as much information as possible on their characteristics, cost, specificities, and optimal use strategies. Most farmers will combine different IPM tactics and tools to get the best results. Now to study how does integrated pest management works. IPM programs combine management approaches for greater effectiveness. The most effective long-term way to manage pests is by using a combination of methods that work better together than separately. Approaches for managing pests are often grouped in different categories like biological control, cultural controls, mechanical and physical controls, and chemical controls. Under biological control, it is the use of natural enemies like predators, parasites, pathogens, and competitors to control pests and their damage. Invertebrates, plant pathogens, nematodes, weeds, and vertebrates have many natural enemies, so they are used to control them. Then second, cultural controls. Cultural controls are practices that reduce pest establishment, reproduction, dispersal, and survival. For example, like changing irrigation practices can reduce pest problems, since too much water can increase root disease and weeds also. Third is mechanical and physical controls. Mechanical and physical controls kill a pest directly, block pest out, or make the environment unsuitable for it. Traps for rodents are example of mechanical control. Physical control includes mulchage for weed management, steam sterilization of the soil for disease management, or barriers such as screens to keep birds or insects out. And fourth is chemical control. Chemical control is the use of pesticides. In IPM, pesticides are used only when needed and in combination with other approaches for more effective long-term control. Pesticides are selected and applied in a way that minimizes their possible harm to people, non-target organisms, non-impacting organisms or beneficial organisms, and the environment. With IPM, we will use the most selective pesticides that will do the job and be the safest for other organisms for air, soil and water quality. Use pesticides in bait stations rather than sprays, or a spot spray is a few weeds instead of entire area. So these are the methods which in combination can give the better results. When we are using integrated pest management systems, It reduces the amount of use of chemical pesticides by using four possible approaches of IPM. First one is mechanical or physical control, which can be achieved through eradication, means destroying the insect population in fields. After that, second, quarantine, which also plays a vital role in this, as this is a legal restriction on the movement of agriculture commodities. The methods which are used in physical and mechanical control, like first one is field sanitation, where we have to go for sanitizing of field to destroy the insect plant population or disease, whatever the residue available in fields by the methods of sanitizing. And then hand picking, traps and use of barriers. Whatever the population of insects that are visible in fields while plowing, we have to hand pick them, collect them and destroy. After that, using traps to capture the whatever the harmful insects and destroying them. And after that, using barriers to stop the entry of insects to the fields on the border sides. After that, pruning and raking, where we can go for cutting or pruning out of the damaged plants or infected plants, about which we can remove and destroy them to the outer sides and control the infecting insect population or diseases. And after that, raking, where whatever the fallen material are available which are containing the insects or disease residue, it should be damaged totally. Then after that, we can go for heat treatment and then water sprays and irrigations according to the requirement. Sometimes by flooding we can control the insect population, but we have to think about, because it can also cause the disease problems. Then we have to use frightening devices in the fields like reflecting objects, noise makers, human or predator effigies, or lights or laser lights, and after that, pyrotechnics or guard animals and ultrasonic devices which can indirectly control the insect or their entry to the fields. And then eradication of alternate host, because if we are trying to control insect, it should not go to the alternate host, otherwise again it will impact the crop. And we have to follow the all protections measures, and we have to go for mulchage. If we are going for the mulchage, it will also control the insect disease and weeds. After adopting integrated pest management, there are reports by which we can say that there are a small scale eradications which are carried out in local tracts to control various diseases like loose smut of wheat and covered smut of barley, red rot of sugarcane, wilt of arhar and many others. And mechanically, the insects and pests can be controlled by using the traps, like catching of Japanese beetle by using traps, and other insects is same. In physical and mechanical control, one aspect is quarantine. Now, what is quarantine? It is defined as a legal restriction on the movement of agriculture commodities for the purpose of exclusion, prevention or delay in the establishment of plant pests and diseases in the areas where they are not known to occur. So this is one of the very important measures. Quarantine laws are formulated and implemented either by the federal or state government. The first quarantine regulation was promulgated in France in 1660. The first federal plant quarantine act was passed in USA in 1912. In India, the Destructive Insect and Pest Act was passed in 1940. So these are the quarantine measures which are playing very important role in regulatory to control the spread of disease and pests. Second methods in integrated pest management is biological control. This method doesn't pose any environmental threat. Besides being inexpensive, it has therefore gained significant prominence. Viruses, bacteria, fungi and sometimes insects are also used for this purpose as mycoviruses, mycoparasites and myconematicides. Besides these, sowing resistant varieties also play a crucial role in biological control. There are two types of genetic resistance to pathogen in plants, which are monogenic and polygenic. Monogenic means the plants which are resistant to one or few pathogens, and polygenic means they are having the genes which are resistant to many wide range of pathogens. A natural enemy of the pest, like the example ladybug, feeds on the aphids and it is having the very good biotic control agent. In biological control, biocontrol is very effective method. Biological control can be defined as the utilization of natural enemies to reduce the damage caused by noxious organisms to tolerable level. The study and utilization of parasitoids, predators and pathogens for the regulation of pest population densities are coming under biocontrol. Biological control is often shortened to biocontrol. Biological control is a bioeffector method of controlling pests, which is including insects, mites, weeds and plant diseases using other living organisms. It relies on predation, parasitism, herbivory or other natural mechanisms, but typically also involves an active human management role. Biocontrol uses natural or modified organisms and genes or gene products of selected organisms to reduce the effects of undesirable pests affecting crops. So all these natural insects which we are using, or pathogens, traits, GM modified crops we are using, these all are coming under biocontrols. Here we have shown the picture which is representing the biocontrol. We are using various type of traps where the female larva lures are used, which is attracting the male insects and they are getting trapped. After that we are using some insects which are socially beneficial and they are controlling the aphids, jaicids or some other larva harmful insects, and it is supporting to the crop. And there are some BT technology also, where we are using genetically modified organisms which are also comes under bio controlling agents. By feeding on the inoculated crop, the larvae are getting dried. Their proteins, because of these toxic substances, they are destroyed, about which we will study now. Here to study how BT works. In case of BT crops, we are using the Bacillus thuringiensis gene inoculated crop, by which the caterpillars feeding on the crops are getting dried. The larvae are getting dried. And how it works? When the caterpillar consumes foliage treated with BT gene, where the spores and crystalline toxin substances are inoculated. In second stage, within minutes, the toxin binds to specific receptors in the gut walls and caterpillar stops feeding. In third step, within hour, the gut walls break down, allowing spores and normal gut bacteria to enter the body cavity, and the toxic substances dissolves throughout the body. In fourth stage, in 1 to 2 days, the caterpillar dies from septicemia as pores and gut bacteria proliferate in its blood. So, in case of BT inoculations, there are toxic proteins which are damaging the cells of larvae. So, this is the mechanism in case of BT technology. In biological control, microbes are also playing very important role. Like mycoviruses, few viruses are present in fungi which successfully attack and control fungi. Like example, Penicillium strongyliferum filtrate destroy Agaricus bisporus fungi. In mycoparasites, few soil fungi and bacteria reduces the infection of pathogenic fungi on the host plant. And like example, Trichoderma is playing important role in reducing the infection of Sclerotium disease. Then myconematicides, few fungi feeds on nematodes. Genera of fungi such as Anthrobotrys dactylaria are predaceous on nematodes and kill them. So these are the microbes which are used to control one another microbes. Third control method used in integrated pest management is chemical control. The chemicals used in the plant protection can be classified as irrigants, surface protectants and systemic protectants. And here we are using the chemicals which are less toxic and these are having low impact on soil health and environment. Like Bordeaux mixture, which was discovered accidentally in France by the Millardet in 1882. Then Burgundy mixture is generally formed by replacing lime with the sodium carbonate and it was discovered in 1987. And sulfur is the earliest known fungicide and it is useful against powdery mildew. And copper is one of the best known fungicide and it is present in Bordeaux mixture. So we have to use the chemicals those are having not much more impact on health and environment. In case of chemical control, there are some essential requirements which to be followed, like use of softener and spreader and sticker. As softener is concerned, it reduces the phytotoxicity of another chemical, like glyceride oils are good softeners chemicals. Then a spreader, which improves the contact between the fungicide and a sprayed surface. Mineral oils and soaps are commonly used for this. And third is a sticker. It is a substance added to a spray or dust which improves the adherence to plant surfaces. Gum arabic or dextrins oils are commonly used as stickers. So while chemical control, this softener and a spreader and a sticker should be used to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the chemicals. Fourth method used in integrated pest management is cultural management. Keeping plants healthy and preventing plant states help plant to better withstand and repair the damage caused by an insect or mite pests. Some evidence indicates that healthy plants resist infestation by pests better than plants having low vigor. The most effective and most important of all practices is to observe what is going on in the fields. Many serious diseases or insect problems can be halted or slowed by regularly visiting the fields and garden, knowing what to look for, recognizing potential problems and intervening as early as possible for the better control measures. Cultural methods of suppressing insect and mite problems in the landscape will include preparing the soil. Because of soil preparation, plowing activities, tillage operations, the insects which are available in the fields will be exposed to the environment. It will be exposed to heat and sunlight, and there will be some birds which will catch the insects. So there will be control of insects and diseases whatever available in the fields during the soil preparation activities. And after that, in cultural methods, we have to choose the plants which are well adapted to the site conditions. Means the climatic conditions should favor the crops, because of which it will be healthy and having the high vigor. Choosing plants that are not attractive to pests. We have to select such varieties which are having the resistance or tolerant to the insect and pest of those areas. And choosing plants that are tolerant to insects and diseases. After that, rotating crops. There should be crop rotation, because of which the crop nature will change and the host will change. So there will be breakdown in the cycle of insects multiplication of the population. Then interplanting or intercropping. If we are growing the various types of crops during the same times, there will be less incidence of insect and diseases, because the host will change. So there will be less multiplication and population and survival of the insect and pests. Then in timing of the planting dates to avoid pest, we have to select the suitable sowing window by which we can escape the pest and disease infestation, and it will not come in catch of infestation. After that, managing weeds. We have to control the weeds, because if weeds are there, ultimately there will be increase of insects and diseases. And after that, planting trap crops. Trap crops are those crops which are grown around the main crop or in between the crops, which will attract specifically the insect and diseases. and because of which this pest will be limited to the trap crops only, and the main crops will be safe. Regulatory is one of the important aspects which is playing very role in integrated pest management success. Regulatory control refers to the role played by the government agencies in trying to stop the entry or spread of pest into an area or into the country via inspection, quarantine, destruction of infested material and other methods. So by this regulatory control, we can control the spread of insects and pests in unspreaded area. So this presentation was all about integrated pest management. Hope this presentation will be very helpful to all of you. Now my presentation ends here. I have given here my YouTube channel details, Journey with Vijay Kumar Srivastava. Having request, please visit the channel, subscribe it, and provide your kind and valuable feedback for further improvements in next coming presentations. Thank you.